Heroes Asylum. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. I'm the Doctor.
Welcome everybody to Heroes Asylum issue 100. Welcome everybody. This has been a long road to get to issue 100. So we want to thank everybody that's been listening, subscribing, checking us out here live on Facebook, YouTube, and all of our other sources. Of course, every week it's Kane over here on my right, as well as myself. We do a basically news review show for comic books, movies, and sci-fi. So Kane, what do you got to say for the issue 100?
It was I think it was one of the milestones that we talked about for the longest time. It was like, can we hit 5? Can we hit 6? Can we hit 10? Can we hit 36? But after that, I was like, the countdown to 100 is going to begin, and yay, we're here. So congratulations, we made it. We're here. So and as always, when you get to that millennial mark, you kind of just have an introspective look at what we've done, because now we have a huge archive and some fun moments I can think of, like the first show. I could think of the female power show that we did, and of course all the movie watch-alongs. But we're here now, and now we're on video. That's another improvement. We started as audio, now we're on video, so you can see our pretty faces every Sunday now.
That's right. Yeah, we are on video. And guys, kind of a mark for our 100th, and so we do now have I want to say thank you guys to the Asylum and the inmates. Yeah, we do have a hefty following right now. And so what we're going to start doing for anybody that is interested in supporting the show, Kane and I do this on our own for fun. Nothing, we don't get paid for doing this. Starting next week on issue 100, we will be putting up for a buy me a coffee, which basically it's just if you guys are interested in wanting to support us, you can basically put in the price of a coffee, and that'll get to Kane and I, and it'll help us get help the show improve. Like I said, we're doing this out of the love of this, but a little help would be always appreciated. And we are starting on the midnight movie side of it, our ham show. We're going to start trying to do some Patreon shows. So we will also have a Patreon link starting next week as well. We've already got them set up. I just don't have the links, and I just wanted to get through the 100th show before we made that announcement. So, but yeah, we're going to start doing those. So if anybody is interested in supporting either one of our shows, we would greatly appreciate it, and we thank you. And if you don't, we still thank you. We still love you guys, especially the inmates here on Facebook. You guys definitely make my week very entertaining. I usually just throw out the news, and you guys just take off with it. And I love watching the what's the old term? The inmates running
the asylum. Yeah. That's literally what they're doing now. And because I really don't post anything in there anymore. Everybody else just posts it, so I just kind of watch, and I just sit back with some popcorn and I just enjoy the show, like normally doing for us. Another announcement I want to make, Ashley, since you got that, is starting also with the 100th episode. I'm going to actually ask people in the Facebook group, both of them, if they want to tweet us questions we can use for the show upcoming. So for episode 101, guys, if you have any questions that you want us to answer, I want you to tweet us at the Heroes Asylum _podcast, and we will be mentioning your name and your questions. We'll probably do the questions at the end of the show. So that's what I'm thinking right now. But yeah, I'm going to start using Twitter a little bit more and throwing some more love out there. So any questions, guys, start rolling them in, and we will use it for next week. So
definitely. So we're going to go ahead and start and do the show like normal. Nothing special here for us. If you guys are interested in another anniversary, we do have another anniversary mark next month. February 24th is our 2-year actual show, where we'll actually, that's the day that we actually initially launched 2 years ago. So we've been doing this for quite some time, but let's go ahead and jump into what we always do, break down the news, any new shows that have come out, and we just kind of talk about all those. So I mean, the big one in the room, WandaVision. Did you get a chance to watch it, check it out?
Yeah, I saw both episodes already. Apparently, somewhere else they say there's 3, but I've only gotten to see the 2.
No, it's only the 3. Disney is not hiding a third one. We'll get the third one next week. So, so the WandaVision miniseries is how they're referring to it. So did you like it? Did you enjoy? I mean, any comments?
Yeah, a couple. I'm kind of like not taken back, but very bold, I think is the word I would use. You can tell when a universe has been around as long as the MCU there, and you're pretty successful at it, and you're coming off Endgame. What do? You have that big event. You try to scale it back down, and I think that's what they're doing with WandaVision. Basically, they said it was going to be based on those sitcoms of the 50s, the 60s, and 70s, and all that stuff. And guess what? They were not wrong. Highly entertaining too, especially the second episode. If you watched it with the whole magic show and Paul Bettany, which was hysterical when he had a piece of gum stuck in his gears, that was a riot. But it's different, but hints of things to come. Who's watching Wanda? Who's that voice? You saw a sword logo. Looks like perhaps an appearance of another villain that I was telling you about that could appear. Mephisto. That was my a thought that I had in my head. But
I actually had a question for you on that one. Where did you get the thought from that? I mean, why are you thinking that?
I'm just thinking sort of like world bending type of villain, and they haven't used him. He's kind of an obscure type of villain, and he loves to use obscure villains. I just keep thinking of Caecilius and Doctor Strange. He's not a well-known guy, but for some reason I just kept thinking, it's just my personal thought. I think he could just somehow do their own version of Mephisto in there.
All right, so you didn't catch a name that was spoken and somebody that was introduced. That's the reason I asked you. When you said that, I was like, well, okay, maybe did he catch something? So you're just going off your gut feel.
I'm going off my gut feel right now. Yeah.
There's an interesting connection though. The neighbor, Agnes. She is actually the wife of the person that turns into Mephisto in the comic books. Yeah, that's why I was wondering if you were catching on to that. So,
no.
Yeah, that's why Agnes is around quite a bit. So, so there is a hint of that possibility.
Interesting. No, yeah. I didn't know that at all. I was just guessing. To be honest, I was like, I don't know why, but I have a feeling that he could just show up, like when the world she's altering stuff, and him like behind the scenes or something. It was just a gut feeling, but no, I had no idea.
Yeah,
that's his wife. No idea.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, the last name. I can't remember the last name off the top of my head, but once I heard the last name, I was like, wait a second. Then Agnes, and then just her nosy neighbor personality.
I love her, by the way.
Makes me think that there may be something that Mephisto is doing here, because maybe she's the one keeping an eye on things. Because everything I notice is throughout the show, people don't know exactly who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like Monica doesn't know. I mean, that's Monica Rambeau in there that's playing Geraldine.
Mm-hmm.
That is Monica, but she says her name's Geraldine, but she doesn't know who she is or where she's from or why she's there. So I'm thinking there's somebody else is controlling, because that voice that we hear in both episodes, we hear that, them saying Wanda, it's somebody, it's not a familiar voice. I listened to the second episode a couple of times at the end. I was like, is that a voice I recognize? Maybe is it Cap? Is it Bucky? Is it somebody trying to snap her out of some weird trance?
Yeah, I was like, is it? Yeah, exactly. It's nobody I recognize. I was thinking maybe it's Randall Park, but it's not even him. The guy who's an Ant-Man. But that doesn't.
Jim Woo is in the show, so it may. Yeah, we just don't know, because I mean we still haven't seen some of the rest of the cast. We still haven't seen Darcy Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Kat Dennings coming back. We still haven't seen, like you said, Randall Park, Jimmy Woo. We haven't seen him yet, and I think those are the primary ones that we have not, the big returning ones that we know of. There is going to be that surprise guest. I'm sure we're going to see. You and I talked about this before, that with the lead into Doctor Strange too, and we've heard a lot of news from the cast of Doctor Strange and of Wanda, talking about, especially Elizabeth Olsen has made comments about Doctor Strange too, and how working with Sam Raimi, he's showed her or told her tales of the Marvel before MCU. And so, so I think there's, we're going to see a little bit more. I know this is only like, I think an 8 episode.
Is it 8 or 6? I'm not sure.
Let me see. I don't know if we've got a full list. Let me see if they've got a setup list. No, they haven't even done that. They just got the 2 episodes listed. Normally you'll see, hey, in a listing, you'll see the episodes are blank, but we don't even have that. Because this is a mini series, I'm thinking it's going to be longer than I think it'll hit the 8 mark like the rest. I mean, you got to think Mando's 6 or no, Mando's 8. So I'm thinking they're going to stick to the 8 because you probably can get the most bang for your buck when it comes to that.
Yeah, plus it's shorter, just compressed storytelling, and you don't have to extend it to 22, 13 episodes. 8 is fine. Like Mandalorian, I thought for every episodes they did, I felt they were kind of longer, even though they were like maybe 30, 35 minutes.
Well, they always said that's one thing I loved about Mando, and I've noticed this one, there's not a consistent length. That was one of the complaints I heard a few people say, especially on our Facebook page, was like, well, why don't we get a full hour? Why, I was like, because they're telling the story. I'd rather them take the time, tell the story they want to tell. And if it happens to end at 40 minutes instead of 55, awesome. They did what they wanted to do. They didn't stuff the show with more fluff that's not going to be there. Now, when you do have, like you were talking about, the old style, the 22, 23 episode series, yeah, there you're going to need some fluff because you're talking about a long form show and you're going to want your fun episodes. I'd still say that some of the favorite ones of mine are, from like Supernatural, the ones when Loki shows up. And they have to do the was it the High School Musical for Supernatural,
or the French Mistake. I think that's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, I mean, and those are the ones that stick out to me, not the big overall arcs. To me, it's the fun ones that stick out. But when you have a long form show, you definitely need that. But when you're dealing with 8 episodes, yeah, you want to get to the nitty gritty and not spend time with fluff, and I think that's perfect.
Yeah, and I think with WandaVision, they're going to get to that. I'm going to take a guess. I would say you're going to start to see it after episode 3.
We will. This is I was talking to a friend of ours, and I was telling her, I was like, you know what? I think this show is one of those shows you're going to have to rewatch because you're seeing things happen in front of you, but you're not understanding them until I think episode 6. You'll be like, oh wait, that's something happened here. Episode 1 and 2.
And then
I think this is going to be one of those ones, because it's so vague about what's going on, because one time they're in they're more in like the Leave It to Beaver phase, and then the next one they're a little bit more later 60s. Now next week it's going to be 70s. They're working their way through the decades to lead up to something.
Yeah, until eventually the 80s and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but I like I said, I think probably by the ending of episode 3 we're going to get out of that sitcom-y world that she's created, and then I think we're going to
know. There's a lot. I mean, if you look at the trailer, there's a lot still left to see that we haven't there's a lot of flashes we haven't even seen. And again, we still haven't even seen Wu or Darcy. So that is that. All right, guys. So make sure you do check that out if you guys are interested. It is well worth the wait. And I know some people are like, oh, really? What are we going to get with WandaVision? Watch it. It is a little strange to watch at first for just regular folks. Because there were a couple of times I was like, where are they going with this? And then that's when I was like, you know what? Let's wait to see what happens, because I think what I'm seeing and why I'm questioning things will be understood by the end.
Yeah, it's all about the build. We'll get there, guys. Just have a little bit of patience, and if you like the Twilight Zone, those old timey shows, you'll dig this one. Trust me, it's a good watch.
Yeah. Also, guys, for television series starting tonight, if anybody's interested in wanting to see what the new season is, season 2, Batwoman is starting tonight. We're getting introduced to the new Batwoman. I'm kind of curious. I'll check it out tomorrow during the day to see where they're going, what direction they're going to do. How do they explain everything that took place?
Yeah.
And that's the new one. We're going to have Javika. Is that how you say it?
Javika. Yeah. I can't pronounce the last name. Was it
Leslie?
Javika Leslie? Oh, okay.
It's the first name.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was Leslie Javika, but okay, yeah, she'll.
Yeah, so we're looking at that. That's starting tonight. We are going to have Alice is still recurring. Sophie Moore, Luke Fox will still be there. There is news and rumors kicking around that yes, we will see Black Mask and Victor Zsasz again. So and then
did we see Zaz already, or is he coming this year?
I think he's coming this season. I don't remember if we
Okay.
saw him or not.
All right, I was wondering if he
Yeah.
showed up last year. Okay,
And they are still saying that this is the reoccurring cast for season 2. So you might be seeing something here. We have Julia Pennyworth. We do have Hush coming back, and it shows Warren Christie is coming in as Bruce Wayne / Batman. So I don't know if that's just like if he's going to be playing that part of Thomas Elliott looking like Bruce. So I'm not sure the direction they're going there.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. You're not going to see him suit up. I know that, but just
I mean, whenever they mention Bruce Wayne, they always have to put a / Batman, even though you're only going to see Bruce. But
yeah. I think that the closest you'll see is the suit that you saw in season 1. That's it.
And a surprise guest, notable guest, in fact, David Ramsey.
David Ramsey, yeah, because
so
at the end of Arrow, he took his family and they moved to Gotham.
Yeah, so we will be seeing him again. So if you guys are interested, I am. I kind of fell off the Batwoman wagon towards the end, and it wasn't anything to do with the show itself. It was just at the end, it was we were starting the stuff from last year. But yeah, I am kind of curious to see which direction they go. It's not a must watch for me, but I am curious.
Yeah, I got him. I'm gonna TiVo it and probably check it out later on after we're done here, and just because I'm curious. I did start watching Batwoman. I thought it was getting better as the season went along. I thought Ruby was getting better, and then she decided to leave, and it happens in jobs. People just get tired of schedules and they want to do something else. So I'll give it a shot.
Very cool. And what do you have for your first one?
My first one, Ethan Hawke has been tabbed to play the villain in Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight series, according to Heroic Hollywood and our buddies.
Not only to that, according to them, a lot of places.
This is
definitely we've written a definite, not for sure for that.
It just says he's gonna be the main villain, but it doesn't say who he's gonna play. But I have some ideas who he could play.
Who are you thinking?
Black Spectre. That's the first thing
Black Spectre? I think that's just too obvious.
I just think season 1, you want to start up big, do Black Spectre. That's the main guy. I mean, you could see him. You could alter his origin a little bit. I know in the comics he was running for governor or something. Make him a cop. I don't know. His best friend.
Bushman's my call.
You think Bushman?
Yeah, because he's another more. He's an arch nemesis of Moon Knight. I mean, he really is. He's the oldest villain. And he's also, I mean, he's the biggest villain for him, I believe. I think that one, your choice, a little too on the nose.
Think so?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think with that, because I mean, he's a mercenary, and I think he falls more into that. But again, dude, you got to look at Moon Knight's list of villains. There are so many.
He's got a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of them that he borrows sometimes from I think Spider-Man, he took some of his villains as well. So
yeah, well, you have Bullseye on here as well.
Yeah.
I mean, but you got to realize he ran with the Defenders too, so you're going to get that shared villain group between Daredevil and Luke Cage, and you're just going to have that mixture where, and again, that's been always Marvel. There hasn't always been that he's that person's villain. Like Lex Luthor is always a Superman's villains. Every once in a while he may drift over to Gotham to mess with Bruce, but for the most part, that's Superman. But in Marvel, that's their villains. Their chocolate and peanut butter get all over the place with each other. They don't. Yeah. They don't. They play in the same. They play in the big sandbox. Yeah.
They get around.
Yeah. That's why when I was looking up Moon Knight's villains, because I know it was some of the ones I was thinking. I was thinking of Bullseye was one, Black Spectre, and then Bushman, and then I just brought up like a whole list, and I'm like, man, he's got quite a few, and like I said, a few of them do cross over to everybody else. So
okay, Bullseye wouldn't be a bad one though. I know they technically used him already in Daredevil, but not really. But their version of Bullseye. But
well, you got to realize. I mean, we're seeing. You've got that news article about somebody playing in an MCU movie.
Yeah,
just wrapping up, and well, he's playing the character we expecting him to play.
Yeah. So. I guess I'll jump into that.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to lead.
Yeah, so very well said. So somebody else has just finished filming. Charlie Cox has finished filming his apparently a role in Spider-Man 3. A new report has just suggested that he was rumored to be there, but I guess he was on set. He filmed his scenes and he's done. So, which this is a rumor for a while back. which kind of makes sense in a way because at the ending of Homecoming or whatever the name that it was Homecoming, right? No, Far From Home. Far From Home.
Yeah.
You saw what happened. Peter slandered all over the place. So he's going to go to court. Needs a lawyer. So why not Matt Murdock? So it's the perfect way to get those Netflix guys into this universe. He's not going to have a big role, so maybe just a little cameo, just being in the courtroom. He's going to be Matt Murdock. I don't think he's going to be Daredevil, but
you don't know. There's Kevin has been making conversation. Kevin has been busy this like last month, talking about with WandaVision and talking about some of the newer releases that they're doing. He's been getting out there and being a little bit more chatty than normal. Because a lot of at least twice a week I'll see, hey, Kevin Feige was doing this with Screen Rant, and hey, this came out, and it was just I was like, okay, well, so because he has mentioned the Netflix series and how they are looking at trying to bring them in. And it's the timing and getting those guys to make sure that they're not all busy already. Yeah. And obviously, Charlie Cox is definitely interested. He wouldn't be back for that.
So you think this is not going to be a one and done for him? You think he'll be back in future films?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
If not films, I believe we'll see him more in the shows. Because right now you got to think, they're spending more money on television series.
Well, I thought that always the future of Marvel was going to go straight to, now that they have their own platform, the possibilities are endless. So you could see the heroes for hire maybe down the road. Who knows? But this kind of makes me happy that they're actually drawing from those actors and they're going to bring them back. So it gives hope, because I heard another rumor that they said Kristen Ritter might join She-Hulk too. So there's another one that fits in perfectly with that show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there is. That's so yeah, we just have to be patient. I think with the way the world's changing now, yeah, it's definitely going to go more television. I think it wasn't originally that. I think this was the break. All the TV shows were kind of like the breather before the next phase kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
Because even Kevin, I was looking at one article where he was talking about he hasn't decided or hasn't really put together when phase 4 will end. They haven't really picked and said, hey, this is the end, because you still have so much coming out. You got WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, Miss Marvel, Hawkeye. The What If animated series is still going to be part of that. So they're still not talking about when the rest of that is, and then of course you have Shang-Chi coming out this month, or not this month, this year. Eternals, those are still all part of the phase 4.
It's going to be a busy year for Marvel. I mean, what they have Eternals, Black Widow, Shang-Chi.
Just everything I just listed.
Oh, sure. Was it? There's not more than that?
Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki.
No, I'm talking about movies. I'm not talking about
No, there's only 2 movies this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, if you count Black Widow, because we really don't. Black Widow's really from last year. It's just a layover. So technically they have 3 movies this year. And that's something they'll eventually get to get everything back. But yeah, there's so much going on. They still, there's already works on, of course, Thor's being done now. We have Doctor Strange being done now. Those are all 2012 movie or not 2012, 2002 movies that are coming out.
2022. We'll see those next year. So yeah, makes sense.
It's
just good that they're actually filming again, and gives me hope, and hopefully the movie theaters can start reopening little by little, because
they're open.
Well, not around here. Sadly, I don't have an AMC close to me, and I like the Regal down the road is closed, and there's another Regal down the road, and it's empty. It's abandoned. It just looks very sad. So I'll be happy again to go to another movie theater. It'll make me very, very happy. So what you got, sir?
Well, mine was kind of talking about Kevin Feige and him discussing the future of the MCU and phase 4, on saying, any hesitation as to when they're going to, launch, not end phase 4, but launch. So, because he wants to just end this. And again, like we were talking about, the whole news or the whole COVID thing where, they can't get out and do the big movies that they want, spend that kind of money because they're not going to get it paid, in back.
Mm-hmm.
But he has talked about the X-Men, that there is talk, and he says it's so much in the infancy of talking right now that that all they're doing is talking about it. How are they going to bring them in? What are they going to do with them? Just so really, I don't even think what you and I have discussed for a year now, that it's going to be done with WandaVision and Doctor Strange. They're still trying to figure out how to bring them in, what to do, who to bring in. Kevin has stated, he is, for him, the Marvel Universe was always the X-Men. He was always an X-Men fan first and foremost. But when he came in, of course, they weren't there to play with. They were off, in somebody else's sandbox.
Well, before he became the head, one of the head honchos at Disney, running the entire MCU, he was actually, I believe, a costume designer on a couple of the X-Men films.
Right.
So he was there in the trenches. So he's been a sweaty of the X-Men for a long time, going back to those early films. So now that he actually has them, I'm sure he's kind of antsy to start playing with them soon. But you don't want to introduce him just yet. I think we had a discussion about the X-Men last night because we were doing a watch along for Logan. Check it out on Wednesday, guys, on Ham. But we were talking about how they're going to be introduced into this MCU. And I think with them, you want to do it. You don't want to do it too quick. And actually, I don't want to bring Wolverine in. I don't want to bring anybody that we've seen already. You just bring up some of the obscure ones, and then we could just lead back up to Professor X and the other ones. And hey, you talked about X-Man last night. Wouldn't that be funny to bring him out first?
That's a big one to bring out, dude. You have to introduce everybody first before you get to X-Man.
Or Sugar Man. No, Sugar Man. That's the villain. But yeah, you can do one of those guys. Or trying to think of somebody from the animated series you could throw on there. Morph, throw Morph in there.
Yeah, I mean, you can introduce him again. One thing with introducing the X-Men, and now I understand that he is a true hardcore sweaty for the X-Men universe. My biggest thing is you have the history. It's what was so cool about the X-Men when they were first introduced back in the 60s is they already had their own history to lean off of. We're dealing in a world where there's never been a hint of that, and that's going to be the weird thing is, all this backstory that they have, that they've always been looked down upon through this whole time, and it's going to be a tough one to bring in and how to introduce them. But I do know Fantastic Four will be coming first, so maybe there'll be a lead in of some sort to do that.
Yeah, he's going to do it. So, I mean, like I said, you can take your time with the X-Men. You don't have to bring them out right away. But just to hear him talk that there actually might be some plans in the future.
They're working on it. That's all.
They're working on it.
All he stated is he was doing again some more interviews about WandaVision coming out. And he said that, yeah, it is in the works right now. It's just in the discussion and planning phase. They don't have anything really in stone just yet.
Yeah, they could be patient. They have tons of other stuff ahead of them. So just be patient. When the X-Men come out, we're all going to be happy and all that stuff. So it'll come. Just got to be patient about it. That's all.
That's right. I don't care if I got to roll in with my hover round. I will see them.
Me too. I'll be in my wheelchair going to watch the X-Men. So. What else you got there, sir? Since I took back to back from you,
Zack Snyder actually just announced that for the Justice League Zack Snyder cut or whatever you want to call it, definitely 4-hour movie, and they're going to be released in 4-hour episodes. So that's what we're looking for. I don't know if he hasn't stated further that it's going to be a weekly episode, or if it's going to be released all at once. I think it'd be kind of cool if he did, kind of break it up. I know the binge watchers will have a minor, conniption fit, but that's just something that they're talking about is that, it is definitely 4 hours and it will be 4-hour blocks.
That's what he said before. So it makes sense. It's kind of like almost like a little streaming series. Week to week, we get to wait. So yeah, it'll be fun. Actually, I've been waiting to see this version for a while. I looked at his Twitter handle. He said he's basically almost done with the VFX. So, and we're going to see that in March. And by the way, a little plug for Ham. We're going to be doing Justice League in March. The other one, not the good one that we're going to see.
Well, we're going to do the epic cut, aren't we, or whatever it's called? They're not the original cut, but there's like a secondary cut that's.
The one online. Oh, that one. Yeah, I think we'll do that one.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll do that one. I don't want to do the other one. It's garbagey. But yeah, to celebrate that month with the release of Justice League, we'll be doing Justice League. So just a little preview of you guys. But yeah, it makes the most sense to me. You get the interest in HBO Max where there's a tons of interest for HBO Max right now. They have a great thing. By the way, thanks. I logged in and awesome stuff on there. Not just like the stuff that you get from DC, but good Lord, the catalog is amazing on there. And the possibilities are going to be endless of whatever shows are going to have running out there soon, from here on out. And I just can't wait. Like I said, I think it's perfect to do it this way. I mean, I would like a 4-hour movie, but if you want to do 1 hour increments, that's fine too. I'll take that.
Very cool. So what do you got?
Speaking of Justice League, Cyborg actor Ray Fisher releases a clip from his Justice League investigation. He
Was
took
it a clip,
to
or was it a phone call, or what was it?
it was like apparently it's a phone call,
Oh, okay.
and I listened to it.
Did you?
It sounds pretty bad, but at this point with the whole thing going on, I mean, he's not going to be back in the DC universe. They let him go. But apparently there was just crazy stuff going on between him, Johns. I just the one name that strikes me, and I think I talked to you about this, is Hamada's name.
Yeah, because he brought up Hamada like 2 months ago. I hadn't heard Hamada being involved in this at all until like 2 months ago, and I'm like, what, really?
I go, are you just bringing him up for the sake of bringing him up, or because
it was kind of strange.
Like, because I know about Whedon and I know about Johns. I heard about those guys, but Hamada was the one. I was like, he wasn't in charge back then. I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was an exec or something, walking around on set.
I think he was a executive producer or something along those lines. Because I mean, you just don't go up from nothing to be the head of the of that group.
Well, unless you're John Peters, who was a hairdresser for Barbra Streisand, but that's another story. But
the fact you know that makes me question.
It's true story. Look it up. He was a hairdresser for Barbra Streisand, and he became a producer. But I'm kind of over it though. Like it's incriminating. It sucks. I feel bad for the guy. These guys should be getting some kind of like, do something, punish them, or I don't know what they're gonna do. But to me, it's over. They've moved on from him. He should move on from this and just, get some other roles, man. I mean, you were good at Cyborg. You were. But the weird thing that I read about this is they're not going to recast Cyborg. At least not right now. I mean, does that mean forever they're not going to do Cyborg? I mean,
No, I have a feeling that they'll eventually do Cyborg again. I think they just want to let this go.
Okay.
Because we're literally, I mean, to think about it, to reintroduce this person and this character into the universe again, it's just going to be difficult, and they're going to have to let it. If they're planning on continuing any bit of the the Snyder Justice League universe, they're going to have to kind of wash him out of it a little bit in some way. Don't know how they're going to do it, which really makes it interesting, because when you think of what he's doing, what Snyder's doing is like, there was supposed to be more Flash and Cyborg in Snyder Cut. Is that getting cut out?
I don't think so.
Is that going to stay? Or maybe not completely cut out, but maybe are they going to maybe just, bring it down a little bit, that he's not so involved in it?
I don't know. That'd be kind of strange, though. You were going to roll out a movie and then basically you'd have more scenes with Ray Fisher in it. You just want to get away from it. I don't know if they're going to do that, though, because he's basically done. And he said that the Cyborg and Flash had more bigger roles in his version of the Justice League. So I think it's one of those things that just leave in there. And, that'll be the end of Ray Fisher's run in DC. So.
Yeah, just kind of let him fade out and
let him fade out, get some new roles, and
DC's got a big enough echelon of characters to go with. So
they could put anybody else. It just sucks. I did like him as Cyborg, but like I said, after all this, you just want to get away from distractions and all that, and just pace yourself and just move away.
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen this before in other series and stuff. So just kind of got to let them go.
Let it go, guys.
So, little rumor came out. Little Birdie was talking to us on the internet again, and it looks as though we will see Chris Evans coming back as Captain America. I know he posted a tweeted that, first I've heard of this, and I thought it was funny when it was dropped, and I was like, oh, okay. And then it dawned on me, wait a second. What are they going to put him in? He's old now. Are they going to bring him back? It hit me out of the blue. Secret Invasion. Why not have him come in as a Skrull?
Yeah.
Because right now, I mean, as far as everybody knows, he's still around. I think because you got to think who's involved in the Skrull universe. It's going to be the Skrulls in Fury. I understand Fury was at the funeral of Captain America or for Iron Man, but he's now been off doing his own thing. And so he may not know that. So what an interesting way to bring back him and maybe some other classic Marvel characters that we thought said, hey, we're done. Well, guess what? They can be done with those characters, but they can come in being those characters but being Skrulls.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that would be awesome because I mean that was always the cool nature of the Skrulls. I remember I know you always talk about it. You love talking about that Avengers animated series, and that was one of my favorite arcs. Was that whole Secret Invasion? with the
Secret
Skrulls
Invasion,
and,
yeah. I
you know,
remember
too.
I remember it was the ending of season 1 that they showed like Cap. He came back, but he went to the X-Men Avengers mansion and he got up and you see him just changing shape. I was like, oh, that's not Cap. So yeah, they could definitely do that. Or another theory that I had, you're going to do the multiverse of madness, maybe there's some weirdness, you know, as Wanda and Doctor Strange are just traveling in multiverses. They pluck the Cap out of the 40s and bring him into the future. I don't know. It's just something, and he has no idea who these guys are.
Yeah, dude, and then that completely like screws up the whole timeline. I mean, dude, that's just horrible. If they go that route, I'd be like,
it's a fish out of water. He's like, what the hell? I thought I was married.
Me and Doc Brown are gonna fucking pick at that one. Bad timeline, bad time travel explanation again. Oh, Jesus! Yeah, no, I don't need to see that.
It's the Cap of the 30s. Actually, you know what would be funny if they don't bring back like you know Buffy Steve, but they bring back Skinny Steve.
Hey guys, what's going on?
That's Cap. He can't fit in the uniform. He can't fight. It'd be hysterical. I don't know.
So what else you got?
Godzilla versus Kong is being moved up from May to March.
Yes.
March. Yes. They show the first clips too. They showed freaking King Kong just giving Godzilla a right cross and showed how big Kong is. I guess he's been eating his Wheaties and stuff like that. So he's Godzilla size now. They're fighting in an aircraft carrier. It looks dope. I want this movie. And by the way, I'm going to let you in on another secret. Another secret for March. Besides what we're going to do Justice League, we are going to do Godzilla King of Monsters. I think we should do that. In honor of that film being moved up, we should dip our toe in the world of monsters.
We should, because actually I was watching King Kong this weekend. The
Skull Island, yeah.
And by the way, how he bulked up. He was eating skull crawlers. I mean, that's the best way to bulk up. They're high in protein.
They never did explain where those things were coming from, though. Was that hell?
No, they explained from the bottom, from inside the earth.
Was that what it was? I thought it was hell.
Yeah, no. Riley or whatever.
John C. Riley. Yeah.
He explained it. His character explained it. That's why Kong was so pissed off. He's like, because the babies would come up through the holes in the ground, but then the humans were dropping these bombs, opening up bigger holes to let more out, and the big ones were coming out of the ground. Yeah, no, that was all explained in the movie.
I have to watch that again. I didn't catch that part because I was always wondering, like, there was always like these holes around there. Like, okay, they're coming from hell. That was the first instinct.
I mean, they're not going to be. He's not going to say hell, but I mean, from the ground. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's the 1900s. They are the 19th century. They don't refer to hell. It's the ground, the molten core. The molten core. They're coming from the journey under the earth with a rock.
And Brendan Fraser's going to pop out too.
Well, Brendan went one way. The Rock was the sequel. So.
Oh, so he trumped it. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he had to. Of course, he had to trump it.
Well, he just didn't come back for Scorpion King. So
yeah, that's all. So, speaking of picking up again, I mean, we were talking about Godzilla, King Kong. And by the way, guys, if anybody is interested, and now that you do have your HBO Max login, they have a library of Godzilla movies. By the way, like probably a good 10 of the originals, like all of them, even Godzuki. Even Son of Godzilla's on there. All right.
Ooh,
yeah, they're all on there. Even all the bad ones are on there, dude. So yeah, if you want to have a little fun, delve into that.
Have a little Godzilla marathon.
Yeah, have a little Godzilla. I was going through today. I've been on a HBO Max kick because it's working for me today. So I was like, yeah, watch it.
Yeah, well, they have good stuff on there on the real. Their library is just extensive, and I think for the price that you pay for it, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, but. Like I was saying, speaking of spinoffs, we have news from Batman, the Gotham PD spinoff series that's going to be also on HBO Max. I know we're not getting paid by HBO Max yet.
Not yet.
They have added a new showrunner because the prior showrunner had left for creative differences. I think it was Barton boarded them a spinoff. Winters. Winters had departed after, and so they've been gone with no showrunner for 2 months. So they finally got a new folk to come on and do it. Joe Barton is coming in. So there's we're going to see where this goes. He's more notably by for doing British
God bless
detective
you.
crime drama. Yeah, Jiri and Haji. I never have seen it before. And he also did the My Days of Mercy and The Ritual. So I'm not sure. Never seen any of his stuff. But we'll see what goes on. Again, it's still going to stick to the GCPD series. It's going to just be based around that. There's going to be a year one, and there's some, cops are being dirty. It's basically, if anybody's ever seen any Gotham show or comic book, it's always been, the cops are dirty and somebody's got to be, show up and, clear it up.
Have they said if Jim Gordon's going to be in there?
They did not say. I mean, we're going to have casting. It's taking place the same time as, I think it's, the way to describe it, that it was like pre-Batman. Like he's just a shadowy figure. He's there. He is full Batman.
Isn't that what we talked about Gotham? What we wanted Gotham to be was we wanted a show. If you're going to base it off the PD, you can still have Batman there, but he's just, like you said, a shadowy figure in the background. He'll show.
Yeah, it's something you and I had always talked about. That it would just be he'd be. They'd show up at a crime scene and they'd see a cape out the window. Or that would be, they're like, well, what is it? I think the best way to describe it would have been the cops that were in B versus Superman in that one cool scene when we first see him.
Yeah, okay.
Where they're like, he's a mysterious thing. We don't go wherever we think he might be. So, I think that's really what it should be, and I think that's kind of what we're gonna get. But again, we're going to be dealing with, there's corruption within, Gotham PD again.
Go figure. The cops in Gotham are always dirty. They're always
they're always every version of Gotham's cops we've seen were dirty. Whether it's Bullock stealing some guy's falafel money or something. Yeah,
I don't think that was Bullock. That was Flash. That was
Flash. I know, but he was basically he was
basically Bullock, right?
Yeah,
because he's fat, big, bulky guy.
Yeah, basically, he was a dirty cop, and that's what Bullock was at the beginning. But Bullock eventually turned.
He turned it around.
Very, very straightforward. By the book cop, in fact.
Yeah, like borderline dickhead, especially in the animated series. He hated Batman. Oh man, it's like, hey, doing guys, get over here! The freaking guy with the freaking cape. That was Bullock animated series. I know you appreciate that impersonation very well. So.
Oh yes, I do. I do. All right, so what do you have now?
I got one last thing. Did you see the set photos from Spider-Man 3? Tom Holland suiting up. Apparently, it's his same suit that he used from Far, Far From Home, just updated a little bit. So it's nice to see them filming. Just
I saw, but when I read the article, I was like, it's the same suit. Okay, well, of course it's going to be the same suit since this is a.
Well, it's just updated. They changed the tone just slightly.
They always do. Yeah, you're going to change up. Maybe you might not see the webbing on the elbows, or they always going to just change it just to change it. Which
I like it though. I like the darker version of it. It's not too light, not too dark. It's just kind of like that little, I guess, navy blue you would say, instead of like the traditional light blue. But it looks good, and it's just like I said, whenever a movie's filming anywhere, and there's some set photos, it just gives me hope once again. Guess what? We're slowly reaching away from this horrible thing that shall not be named. So,
well, I mean, movies have not stopped. It's just that they just can't get out, and they're not going to make their money. That's the biggest issue.
That's the thing, yeah.
But I think that's what I was telling you earlier, and I've talked about this before. I think this is a good thing for Hollywood. They can tone down these things. They can make them more what's the word I'm looking for? Not homegrown, but they don't have to do all the big special effects. They don't have to be as massive as Endgame. They can make it to where they are like real true crime stories. The best thing about Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, they were very down to earth, and those were amazing stories. And I think they could get away with that even on the big screen. And I think this is a time that they could take that, pull back to CGI a wee bit, not completely, but because you're still going to need him for doing the sweep, swinging around the city. I still want to see that scene, but I think if they can deal that with everybody else,
yeah, and it'd be perfect. So can't wait.
Speaking of comic books, so have you finally gotten caught up or read enough of Future State for DC's new Future State too?
I've only read the first Batman one.
Just the first Batman stuff.
That's all I've read. I have not gotten on board on Future State yet. I'm kind of a little hesitant of things I've heard. I'm just kind of waiting for you to tell me.
I'm telling you. Well, I have told you, so I'm going to tell these folks. Check out Future State. It is a very small run. This isn't the changing, because this was originally going to be what G5 of DC, where they were going to but stop all the story runs and then basically go 5 generations ahead to who is the Superman in 5 generations, who's the Batman, who's Wonder Woman, and have those stories and basically wipe out what we've grown up on. There was a big kickback. I know Dan Didio, who had left, he was I think he wasn't editor, but I think he was close to, like, he was top story developer, I think, for DC. And I know he left because he was putting up a stink about, no, this isn't going to be good. And then, of course, the comic book runs ran slow during the last summer with the COVID, and then now they're coming back. And I think that they took the ideas that they had in place and sort of gave Death Metal in the Metal series kind of a bookend to say, okay, you know what, we've done this in DC for so long, for what, 2 years now, I think they've been doing the Metal runs.
Nah, I think Metal's gone on for almost 3 years.
3 years now? Okay,
Yeah.
so you were talking 3 years. Granted, it didn't impact the main storylines, but it was a big factor. I mean, even though Metal was going on, we still had the villains, Night of the Villains, or what was it, Day of the Villains?
Year of the Villain.
Year of the Villains, whatever. I was going to get to the year. I had to go day, week, month. So
you were close.
But the Year of the Villains, and they had a couple other big, major crossovers that happened during that time. But Metal was one of the bigger ones, and I think this kind of bookended that. It ended the story of the Year of the Villain and everything. And so Future State's kind of a kind of cleansing your palate a little bit to move back on, because in 2 months, I think in April, they are going to start back up to the normal DC run. And they have a listing of books out there, guys. If you are interested, you can find that out on gamerradar.com. They actually have a long list of all the new runs are going to start, and some are just going to come back like normal. But for Future State, it's a very interesting story, because each one is taking place on a different world. This isn't Batman of now or in the future. It is Batman of a different multiverse. It's a Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is no longer Amazonian. She is actually from South America. So we're getting that culture bled into it. We actually have the detective comic book where we actually see Bruce, but Bruce is down on his luck. He's lost all of his money. They think Bruce is, he's just like gone nuts. They believe Batman is dead, and anybody with a cape or a mask is being hunted.
Yeah, that was one of the things I read about, was like there's some kind of futuristic police force that took over Gotham, and they're like the law now, and then they're hunting down basically anybody who thinks or wants to think they want to put on the cape. So it's just, well,
it's not that much different than Watchmen when you really think about what Watchmen.
No, it's basically you could put the cover of Watchmen onto that. So it's like I said, it just didn't grab me. I'll give it another shot this week.
I'll talk to Larry. Move on. You've already read that one book. Move on to the next one. Each one's a little different, and you got to realize none of them are connected, other than the fact that they're multi-universes. That's the only thing that connects them.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it, and I will promise I will go to Acme this week, and I'll pick up some Future State, and I'll be back next week with a review.
There you go. Also, starting in April, after Future State is done, we're going to get Robin, Damian Wayne, who has not gotten. He's the only Robin that has not gotten his own series. He had his Super Friend, or not a Super Friends, the Challenge of the Super Sons series with
him and John, right?
Yeah, but not a solo. So he's going to finally get his first solo run. So we'll see how it goes. He looks like it's a mix of like the Assassin's Creed and Robin. It's kind of an interesting mix on his costume. We are getting a couple of cool short stories. One's Batman the Dark Knight #1, and basically kind of follows Bruce over to the United Kingdom. So we've got that one coming out. We also
run into Captain Britain, maybe.
Probably, you never know. or what was it, Batwing? And that wasn't. I think it wasn't one version of Batwing in.
Yeah. Wasn't he a cop or something?
Yeah. Not the one we have now, but I think
no. It was another one.
A long time ago.
I know what you're talking about. That was Batman Inc. Batman Incorporated. I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Then, of course, you now have. They are going to sort of continue the story of the Batman version on the Future State that you were talking about in a run called The Next Batman, Second Son #1, and it will follow Luke Fox on this. Or not Luke Fox. I'm sorry.
Tim
Fox. Is it Tim? Yeah, sorry. Yes. And so we'll be following him. We also are going to get one. I've got to have Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries #1.
I'm getting that. I'm gonna text Larry right now, see if he can just pre-order that for me.
And again, like I said, the rest of the comic book runs are going to just pick up where they were before. Batman 107 is going to come out. The Batman Black and White series is coming back out. So yeah, there's a few. There's a lot of them are going to start up. The one I know you were really always raving about to me was the Batman and Superman one. That's going to continue with that, issue 17.
Yeah, I got the latest ones. I've been just going through them pretty quickly. The whole thing with him, everybody knows who Superman is still irks me a little bit. But other than that, it's not bad. Just I don't like the whole world knowing who Superman is. Damn you, Bendis.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Maybe post Future State and post Dark or Death Metal that gets changed and we see something different. Hopefully people somehow get amnesia about it. I'm hoping
so, the whole world forgets about it. It'll be like that moment in Dallas where Bobby Ewing, they thought he was dead and he shows up. He's in the shower. Oh, it was all a dream. So there
yeah. And then of course the Joker will be starting in March. Actually, Joker.
I will skip that one. Sorry.
We're I'm kind of. Yeah, so am I, and to give him his own one to where really you're going to have to give him. He's no longer going to be or he's going to be the protagonist, not the antagonist any longer. If you're going to have his own run, he's going to have to go against other gangs that are probably intruding in his territory, and we're going to still make him be out to be the bit of a hero. And
anti-hero Joker. That's great.
Yeah, don't want to see it. The same reason I didn't want to see it. Same reason I didn't want to see Joker the movie. I was like, you don't want to humanize this person. He's a piece of crap.
Yeah, leave him like he is, psychotic and insane. Don't humanize him. Oh man, what he's gonna be like the Punisher now? I'm just not interested. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm jokered out. I'm done. Just put the Joker away for a while. Concentrate on somebody. How about a Clayface run? Man Bat, freaking Mad Hatter. What was that little girl in the animated series? The doll, whatever, a little girl, and she was actually 50 years old, but she was still
talking baby doll.
Baby doll, do baby doll. Actually, that'd be kind of weird.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, too weird. All right, guys. Well, that is all the news I have. Don't forget, we will be having our the Heroes Asylum Midnight Movies will be coming out. We have one dropping tomorrow. Tomorrow will be AI, the review for artificial intelligence, as well as Wednesday will be the release of Logan. This month, or actually this year, at the beginning of the year, we're doing monthly watch alongs, and basically we're doing decade of movies. So we're not going to be covering one style. Where this month we're covering everything from now to 2010, and then in February it'll be the aughts, I guess you could say, and then so on and so forth. We'll work our way to the 90s, the 80s, and we will end up in the 70s. We won't be going into the 60s or 50s. Nobody wants to see us doing reviewing The Great Pretender or Gone with the Wind.
I got my disco ball here, man. I can't wait till we get to the 70s. It's gonna be
fun. Right, man. We're gonna bust out some Saturday Night Fever.
Oh yeah, I got my white polyester suit. I got my black vest. I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
And make sure you guys do check, like I said, check us out on those. We at the bottom you will see where we are located. You can check out all of our stuff on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play. So make sure you guys do subscribe. And Kane, what else do we got?
Check us out this week. Like I said, for next week, tweet your questions at the Heroes Asylum _podcast. We're going to use your questions at the end of next week's show. So just tweet the questions. I'm going to put the Twitter address on the Facebook page. So guys, tweet your questions. You never know which ones I'm going to use for next week. Check out Instagram. And as always, thank you for the 100th episode, guys. We thank everybody in the asylum, the room, the chat room, people who are here tonight. Mike, thank you for we made it this far. And let's hope that we can do another 100 episodes in a couple of years. And as always, from Mike to me to you, get to the asylum.